Hey YouTube, how's it going? It's been 600 years since I've streamed last. Really excited to be here. I hope everyone had a really good day, that the weather's nice. It was kind of raining off and on. I'm looking out the window today. It was really nice and sunny at lunchtime. Then it got cold and rainy, and now it's pretty sunny. And I actually really enjoy having like the window open and some light in here so I can do my streams. Now I was Anastasia, I was just about to say I haven't been streaming for months and months, so I figured that there'd be nobody here, so I was just gonna get started. So thank you, Anastasia, for joining. I really appreciate you being here, and anyone else who joins live or more likely on the replay. Really excited to be back. And thank you for watching. I'm really excited to talk about Modere closing down. Modere is, sorry, my husband changed his setup in here and it's confusing. I don't know how I want to say it. Modere, big MLM company, closed down. It's a health and wellness company, completely closed down without any warning. And I'm really excited today to talk about the reaction from John Melton, famous MLM coach, who, when all these other companies were turning to affiliate, he was saying that that this is not a bad sign for the MLM industry, that those were just bad apples and everyone should just relax, is what he said. And now the exact same thing happened to his company, and he's the one being screwed over. So just interesting. I don't know why my computer's being weird, but I'm excited to watch his reaction to everything that's been going down. And if it's okay, I'm starting at 12 minutes and 47 seconds, and it's at 1.25 speed because the first bit, it was just about like his story in MLM and the other companies he's been in, and I already know that, and I don't really care about that. So also tell me if it's too fast. Okay, I'm ready to go. I'm very excited for this. And this was just today. I was watching this live today at like 11 o'clock my time. So it's a very new live. Okay, I'm ready.
But my team is like basically.
That's quiet. I was turning it down as I was listening to this. Okay.
But we put 7,000 people in Vima in 2 years. Hardly any of them wanted to come with us to Modere. So we had to build a whole new team. And actually, luckily, fortunately, we recruited some.
So he's just talking about how he went from Vima, that was shut down for being a pyramid scheme, and moved to Modere, and most of his Vima downline did not want to go with them.
Really good people right out of the gate. People like Jesse Lee Ward. And there were some other people that we brought in that first month that were amazing, like Casey and Kylie, and Ian Lenhart was my very first recruit. I think Michelle Googe. Michelle, if you're watching this, when did you join? Didn't you join pretty early on too? Christine and Maria joined us, who are still with us today. I think Amanda Nicole Morris came along later on. But anyway, the point is, like, people that are still with us today, right? And some rock stars that we brought in that first 38 people that I recruited, and then they started recruiting. We hit elite the first month in Modere, first month and a half, whatever. Made like
you hit elite in MLM companies by recruiting a shit pile of people. He could have brought in just a few people, right? But if you bring in the people who recruit a bunch of people, then they get you to elite. They get you to the fancy prizes and the really high paycheck. So you're never in control of your business in MLM. You always have to rely on other people to help you maintain your rank and your income.
17,000, which is funny because is that an income claim? Well, they're out of business. No compliance. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just having fun. So we crush it pretty quick, but then it kind of like falls a little flat, right? I don't know why we joined Modere back then because they didn't have any exciting products, but I liked the dual-sided comp plan. And I like that they were focused on customers and people could make a lot of money getting customers. Hypothetically, nobody was doing it, but hypothetically, they can make a lot of money getting customers.
Sorry. Yeah, he's so arrogant. I'm sure none of this is any of his fault exactly. Okay, I'll just take myself off for a second. Apparently, he is saying that people could make money. They could make money with customers, but no one was actually doing it. And I wonder at the time, was he telling people that you could make a full-time income only with customers, while in reality, knowing that no one was actually doing what he was saying? And we've had videos on this channel where him and Eric Warrior talking about how amazing it is that Modere is so focused on customers. Like, how much of that was a lie, right? Because all of these MLM coaches, MLM distributors, when they're in their company, they talk about how amazing it is. And then the moment their company shut down, it's been going downhill for years. They've been losing income for years. And I'm thinking, well, where was that when you were recruiting vulnerable people into your pyramid scheme?
Created. There was no such thing as collagen as far as any of us knew back then. But we had a dream, we had a mission, we had a vision that like we could build a business online and teach people to get customers. And by the way, the reason I went to Modere was also because they were very customer centric. And where was I right before that? Did you pay attention? I was in a company called Vima. It was a binary, two, they get two, they get two. Everybody could join for free. So everybody was a distributor, even the customers. And essentially it was shut down for being a pyramid scheme because there was too much emphasis on making money and recruiting. And I know you're like, damn, this is a long story. Well,
there's emphasis. Okay, I'm going to let him talk for longer than 2 seconds at a time. There's emphasis on recruiting for any MLM ever. You were just talking about, sir, how you recruited some people and then they recruited a bunch of people and you got to elite in the first month of Modere. Every MLM has an emphasis on recruiting. There's no way around it, because if there wasn't a focus on recruiting, there wouldn't be an MLM. And everyone knows you make way more money if you have a big team than just trying to sell the product.
You can hop off if you want. I'm just telling you the full story so you understand. So with that being said, we didn't have, I mean, we had some like quick success. We brought in a bunch of people. We didn't really have a good product until about the beginning of, well, actually, no, we did bring out a weight loss product line called M3. Then we created ATM, right? Using groups to expose people to the products and opportunity. Then we came out with the collagen and, brought in Ozma, brought in the Jasuru people. So, some pretty good success with the collagen. Trim comes out. Now we're really crushing it. Everybody's doing the spoon. If y'all remember the early days of the spoon, my God, it was wild, man. Some of these people would join and they would just have a spoon with some trim on it and be like 500 comments. People like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And everybody's ATMing their face off. Shortly after that, Jesse Lee's terminated, which was an S show, as you can imagine. We're trying to use swear words. And, everybody's got their version of the story, what happened. I know what really happened. I'm not going to get into it right now because it's not the time and place. But bottom line, she was terminated and it was bad and it was ugly and it sucked and it was stressful. And it was like, oh my gosh, all the things. And then she went to prove it. She started crushing it. We brought in a lot of other amazing people. 2018, she went off and made millions. We went off and made millions. It was all good. Whatever.
I'm not sure why he's talking about all the amazing people that he recruited in Modere, right? Like, why is it just a way for him to show his legitimacy in the MLM industry, right? I don't really understand that. And name dropping fancy people does not, maybe, because he's gonna talk a little bit later about an MLM company that he's opening up called Nueva something, and it's probably just a way to further legitimize him. So people who are watching this live will join him in his MLM company, right? That was not well said at all. I feel like I'm very rusty in providing reactions to this kind of stuff, so sorry about that.
But and God rest her soul. So she was literally one of the best I've ever seen, probably the best. By the end of her life, she was the best I have ever seen, ever, period, end of story. Recruiting, selling, leadership, speaking. I mean, she became a totally different human after she left. And we did make amends, luckily, before she passed, before even the diagnosis.
Why? Okay, I know Jessie Lee Ward was known a lot for her role in the MLM industry, right? She was a very strong figure. I just don't understand when people who are public figures pass away, there's always such a focus on, oh, she was such a brilliant leader. Oh, this person was such an amazing baseball player. And I feel like there's less of a focus on them as a person and their family and their friends. And it just confuses me. An example, I don't know if you guys follow NHL stuff, but unfortunately, two brothers, one is in the NHL, the other one in the AHL, they passed away through a drunk driver, right? And a lot of the tributes were about how amazing they were at hockey. And I'm like, well, no. Johnny Gaudreau was also an amazing father and husband and son and friend, right? And him being a teammate was just one part of his whole identity. And Jessie Lee being a good network marketer is just one part of her identity. But I don't know. Like, I don't actually know her. It just always makes me feel weird when I hear people talking like that.
Which was cool. So the bottom line is it was a ride of a lifetime with Modere. I would say between 2017, 2023, we were probably the hottest company in the entire profession. And everybody that's hot right now listen, I'm not trying to take shots at any of you, but most of the companies that are hot right now, it's because they copy us. Fine. That's cool. You should have copied us.
Hi, Lori. Lovely to see you. It's been a million years. I think it was Anastasia who left a comment being like, hey, you good? I just had nothing to talk about. Like, I was trying to find video topics I was excited about, and then I just kept getting bored. And then I was thinking, hey, don't force it. If I have something of interest I want to talk about, then do a video. If I don't, then just don't do a video. So that's why I've been MIA for 2 months, just because I didn't have anything I wanted to talk about. So this is John Melton. He's talking about Modere, his MLM company closing. John Melton is an MLM coach, and he was also in Modere, and he's talking about everything that led up to Modere shutting down. And now he's talking about how Modere from 2017 to 2023 was just the best company in the game. Everyone copied Modere. Everyone was jealous of Modere. Apparently, it was just to 2023, apparently. So what happened between 2023 and 2025? Was it still the best company? I bet you John Melton was selling it as the best company in order to recruit everyone into his downline, right? Health and wellness, weight loss, nutrition products.
That are having a lot of success, it's because either you copied our comp plan, smart, you should have. You copied our ATM system. Why wouldn't you? I was sharing that information for free for years, and we created an ATM course. Like, you should have done that. You came out with collagen because of us. You taught people how to create curiosity and brand themselves because of us.
Just because you say these things does not make it true. How do you know someone came out with collagen because of specifically Modere? Right? How do you know people have a similar comp plan to Modere because of Modere? How there's no cause and effect. Just because there's some similarities doesn't mean that people were copying you. And if Modere was just so hot, only not even 2 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, they were just so hot. What happened in such a short time from them being the company that everyone in the world is copying to being shut down in not a very long period of time? Do you think that shows how unstable this industry is? Right? Do you think that shows that we are not actually in control of our money at all, and our entire livelihood, if we're lucky enough to make any money, can be ripped away from us at any moment? And I got new glasses. I'm looking at myself in the camera, and the color looks nice. I kind of dig this. Although I did like my purple ones before. Same. Well, I've liked him a few times here and there, but generally he frustrates me.
A lot of the top people, even people that hate on me and bash me right now, learned more from me and made more money working with me than they ever did anywhere else. And that's fine. Whatever. I literally don't care. And guess what? Maybe I made mistakes. Maybe I said things I shouldn't say.
I literally don't care, but I'm talking about it. All you people who hate me, I made you. I'm the reason you are where you are, but I don't care. Really, John, if you didn't care, you wouldn't bring it up. Thank you, Anastasia. Oh, Anastasia and hockey fans who watch the replay, the PWHL is expanding. Professional Women's Hockey League is expanding to Vancouver. And I'm thinking, geez, Vancouver to Toronto is a long ass flight. It's like 5 hours or something. I'm like, that's so much travel. But very exciting that there's expansion team.
Say what I'm, oh, wow. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. And I get emotional and say things that hurt feelings. Wow. I must be a human being.
Sure, human beings get emotional, maybe hurt someone's feelings, but just because you're human doesn't mean you can just have free reign and treat people poorly. You still gotta apologize and take accountability for your shit behavior.
Anywho, but let them hate. It's free advertising. I care less. So with all that being said, the fact of the matter is we had a really good run. And then around 2023, supposedly the greedy pigs that own our company, which was a private equity firm. And listen, I know a lot of you try to warn me like, oh, private equity. Look, I get it. But what are we going to do? We were making a lot of money. Our people were making a lot of money. We're the number one team in the industry for a while there.
How do you fucking prove you're the number one team in an entire industry? Did you do it? Did you do a study? Did you go from top team to top team in all the companies and track exactly how much how much selling they were doing, how much recruiting they were doing. Show me your data. Show me your fucking data. Yeah, Newfoundland. I can never say that. Newfoundland, or Nova Scotia, right? Oh, I don't know why I'm getting all riled up. He just frustrates me. And yeah, like if a PWHL team goes to Atlantic Canada and they go play the team in Vancouver, that's a long ass flight. I'm pretty sure there would not be direct flights from Vancouver to anywhere in Atlantic Canada. Or they would be, but they'd just be really expensive.
We're working with us. I mean, we had great products. I'm not just going to throw away a business because maybe something bad could happen. And I will be honest. I knew that someday we could have been bought and sold, right? Or bought and sold, whatever. I mean, I didn't actually think that was a big deal. Some people are like, oh my God, what if like, new ownership comes in? I'm like, I think that could be a good thing. I don't know. I don't live in scarcity or fear of like the worst case scenario, but I didn't think in a million years they would just close the doors. I mean, I think didn't Arbonne go through like a Chapter 13 bankruptcy and survive it? I mean, companies have been through some really bad stuff and they've survived it. Really, really bad things have happened to companies. And it wasn't the end of the world. I don't know why they would close the doors. I'm sure we'll find out more soon. Some people have different, like, oh, the bank that because they took out a loan, dude. They took out a loan. They couldn't sell us, although they had offers and they were freaking greedy. I never even met the people that owned us. James Zen.
This just shows how much an MLM company is not your own business, because apparently up until 2023, they were in a great financial position, and then they were bought by greedy people. These greedy people couldn't sell even though they had offers. They were a private equity firm, and that's what brought this company downhill. If it was our own company, we would have more control over who we sell it to, the conditions of the sale. We would be able to actually make these decisions. John, if this was your company, if you are an entrepreneur based off of your participation in the Modere compensation plan, why was the bankruptcy, the closing down of this company completely out of your control, right? Because I think his coaching company is a lifestyle academy. You have control over that company. You can decide how much you want to sell it for. You decide what products and services you provide to your clients. You are actually a business owner in that sense. You are not a business. You do not own Modere. Clearly. My eyes are starting to hurt. I lasted for a while without my sunglasses. They're coming out. I'm sorry. I like how my new glasses look on video, though.
Or whatever his name is. I never met him. And I don't even know if it's his fault. I don't even know. Like, it might not even be his fault. It might be the bank that was the greedy pigs. I have no idea, right? Everybody has assumptions, but you weren't in those conversations. You weren't in those rooms. We don't really know what happened specifically. We have ideas. I know some people think they know for a fact. Okay, cool. Great. Good for you. At the end of the day, whether it was because they took out the money and they were behind on the loan, they're behind on the payment.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep my camera off for a bit because whenever I have my camera on, it just disconnects. And
they're going to look into it because we do want to sue them. But we don't know if we can sue. And we don't really know if they were forced to close the doors. So that's why it's like somebody was being greedy. Somebody was being like.
Sue their asses, John, because he's going to tell us in a bit they owe him hundreds of thousands of dollars and he's not being paid. He has not received his payment. No one has received their payments. Is Modere going to pay their people? I won't look right now. I'll just look on my phone. Because I saw somewhere that Modere is Modere, not Codere, Modere. I can't type. Modere paying its distributors. Okay, I'm on Behind MLM. I'm just quickly looking. Go away. Okay. Do they have any intention of paying their people? I wonder, because if they don't, sue their asses. Everyone is a greedy pig except those at the top of the pyramid. Exactly. John, and the people at the top of the pyramid, like you know that only a tiny ass portion, I've said this a million times, you know only a tiny portion of the people underneath you are actually making any money, but yet you continue to sell this as an amazing, life-changing financial opportunity. Can you imagine the ethical dilemmas that people at the top of these pyramids must be going through, right? Because you know that the people joining you underneath you are actively losing money, are being harmed financially, mentally by this company, and you continue to push it so you can be wealthy. Then look, you are exploiting, manipulating vulnerable people, but yet you're still going to lose your Modere income. And you are one of the few people who are lucky enough to actually have income. So you can do all the exploiting you want, but your Modere business, quote unquote, is not secure. It's not your business. Hi, Lori.
Like pure, I mean, it's pure evil just to shut down a company when people put their heart and soul and their livelihood, like on payday, by the way. We didn't get
It's pure evil to just shut down a company on payday. The MLM industry is pure evil. Everything I just said, John, about the ethical dilemma of being a top MLM leader is pure evil. You are in your beautiful house. You have all of your material possessions because of everyone in your downline losing money and being harmed. That is pure evil.
get paid. We did not get paid. And I love when people are like, oh, they knew it was coming. Yeah, we knew it was coming. And I still went to a volleyball tournament that weekend with my daughter in Philadelphia. I didn't get to see, that's not true. I did get to watch one game on Sunday. I didn't get to watch any other games because I was on the phone the entire freaking weekend, as you can imagine. It's just fascinating. Like I even had a woman yesterday and she's awesome. She goes, listen, even if you did know, like, it's not like you shut down the company. And I'm like, yeah, true. But I did know. She's like, but I'm like, I wish I could tell you I was that smart, that we knew this might happen and we had a backup plan. We didn't have a backup plan. I mean, I guess my backup plan is, if something happens and we have to go somewhere else, we'll figure it out because I have a lot of contacts, resources, and capability. And I've, had this happen before, right? I just told you.
Point. If something happens, he would figure it out because he has a huge name in the MLM industry. He has hundreds of people who would go from one company to another, would follow him anywhere. That is not the average experience of someone whose MLM just closes. Your average person who might be making an actual reasonable profit in their MLM company, they're not going to have hundreds of people follow them from one company to another. They're not going to have a lucrative bridge contract to encourage them to come to a new company. So the average person cannot just figure it out. They won't. Only saw one game dedicated to his kid for sure. And it was over the weekend and you hear that your company shuts down. There's nothing you can do anyways. However, that's easier said than done. I know with my brain, my thought patterns, I would probably obsess on that all weekend. If I got fired on Saturday morning from my job, I would struggle to focus on what's going on with my family for sure, even though I knew I couldn't call my past boss until Monday. So easier said than done, but yes, it's like, why not just watch your kid's game and then call the people who just screwed you over later, right?
It happened 10 years ago, but we didn't have a backup plan. We didn't have like a company already in place. People are like, how could they possibly make that decision? How could they possibly make that decision that quickly? And
I think DC and Aaron are streaming right now about his new company. I think it's Nueva something. I don't remember. And pretty much like the day after Modere closed down, he was talking about starting up his own company. And I was seeing so many Facebook posts. A lady named Amber DeLoof was talking about on Facebook how sketchy it was that only a day or two after Modere closed, he was already making progress opening his new company and was saying how amazing it is that everything was falling into place so quickly. So that's what he's talking about. And people were insinuating that he knew that this was happening, which is why he's opening up his new company so soon after. So you guys should go watch that video if you want to learn about John Milton's new MLM company. Also, I'm really excited because I've been seeing videos on Ray Higdon's channel and he's opening his own MLM company as well. So super interesting. Two MLM coaches at pretty much the exact same time also opening up their own companies. Ooh, interesting time for the industry.
It's like, well, people decided to go to other MLMs very quickly. I mean, literally, we found out Friday around 5 p.m. Eastern. Later that night, there were people that already joined other companies like that. So them deciding to join another company, we decided within about, I would say 48 hours to start our own company. But it's not like we don't even have a website. It took us 3 days back and forth debating with each other to figure out the name of the company. So, anyway, the point is, I did not know that was coming. None of us did, but we also knew that Modere had a lot of problems, terminating people, suing people, and then they were terrible. They were terrible at suing people. We're like, what exactly are you suing them for? Wait, so what's the reason? Oh, those are the reasons. All right, got it. I mean, anyway, at the end of the day, it was very ugly, and it was just negative, and employees are going to other competing companies.
Okay, Lori, I don't know if they have it, if they have anything online. Let me look. I'll just take myself on the camera for now. And I'll stop. How about I'll stop sharing this? And then I'll just look and see if there's anything I can find. Nueva John Melton. Good question, though. Good question. Nueva something. See if there's anything on Facebook. So I'm going to say that I probably don't have anything I could share with you because, yeah, they're not open yet and they don't have a website or anything. I know that it is health and wellness, though. That's what I can tell you. But I'll probably want to do a video on that at some point. Just looking. Yeah, I'm okay. So this is literally just an AI summary of comments on his video. Excitement builds as followers eagerly await a reveal from Nueva Global. Commenters praise Nadia Melton's genius and the team's hard work, with many expressing eagerness to join or learn more. Anticipation is high, with promises of a next-level impact and making waves bigger than anyone has seen. Wow, it sounds so different and unique. It's lucky he had another company up his sleeve. Exactly, right? And doesn't that description sound exactly like how Scotty Hobbs was talking about Make Wellness when he went from Beachbody to Make Wellness? Robert, what's his name? Not Roberts. Justin Prince's new company. Every MLM is just like so unique and different and the one best company ever, right? I'm going to take myself off camera because apparently I can't play a video and be on camera at the same time.
CEOs going to another competing company were getting rid of products, but they were also going to open up new markets. And they were having awesome events. And they did hire some new people that I really, really liked. And I was like, these people are awesome. And they're coming out with new products that were amazing. So you're kind of like, I don't know, maybe we're getting back into momentum. And then last month, we had our biggest recruiting month in 2 years. We had our biggest recruiting month in 2 years last month. Killing it. You know how bad I felt, by the way? I had people that bought their kits, their XM kits. They were doing their I had 2 people that were going to do their unboxing video. These are personal recruits of mine, not like on the team. We had like 450 people join the team in March, 3,500 new customers. We did over $2 million in sales. The company owed me, by the way, $210,000 last month that I did not get. Thank you very much. And then we did another 1,000,000 points in April that I didn't get paid on. So everybody, all of us got screwed. You understand?
Sue their asses, John.
But these guys,
I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for you, but despite the unethical nature of your industry, you got to be paid. Everyone's got to be paid, right? And he's talking about how the company was kind of going downhill, but there were good parts to it. Great new products, great trips. They had a great sales numbers. And so he was the top most well-known person in the company, and he claims to have no idea. If that's true, then fuck Modere. Apparently, MLM companies don't know how to communicate with the people who made the CEOs rich in the first place and be transparent. Where's transparency? Where's the loyalty from the C-suite to the distributors? Because apparently the distributors have to be loyal to MLMs for their entire life, but CEOs do not owe their distributors common decency and respect, right? Actually have a conversation, have a Zoom call, but a real Zoom call that gives actual information and an actual reason why you are pulling the rug out from under hundreds of people, thousands of people.
were ready to do their unboxing videos on Friday. Can you imagine? They were doing their unboxing videos. I'm like, oh my gosh. I think one of them even did. I'm like, yeah, you might want to delete that, charge back your credit card. It's just so embarrassing. You know, the worst part is we were loyal until the bitter end. And then you're going to get people that are like, I told you so. I knew something was going on. Like, cool, good for you. You know, I mean, it's not like I was in denial that things were going. I mean, I knew things were happening, but also, guess what? It's not just network marketing. It wasn't just Modere. The economy is a little jacked up right now, and it has been for a couple years. And you're seeing a lot of traditional businesses go under too. But I thought
That's true. A lot of traditional businesses are going under. However, it's not the same thing because MLMs are saying that they are the most amazing, life-changing financial opportunity, and you're your own business owner and you have control over your own destiny. And then you're told all of that, and then it's just you're lied to, you're deceived, and your CEOs don't give a shit about you. And I know in a normal, average work environment, you are also incredibly replaceable too, but I don't know. I feel like if I get fired from my job tomorrow, I'm still going to be paid for what I haven't been paid for yet. I'm paid on a 2-week period, a 2-week segment, right? I'll get my next paycheck. I'll get my vacation paid out. My boss will talk to me and tell me why I was let go and give me reasons and see if I need help figuring out what to do next. She would probably write me a brilliant reference letter so I can get a job moving forward. Right? How come in an average work environment, if you're fired, sometimes, if you're lucky, you're treated with respect. But in the MLM world, they don't care. They're not even going to pay you. I'm sure the hedge fund owners wanted most money they could. They have contracts and have contracts to keep that money. The business owners take all the risks. Exactly. Oh, and I'm seeing share your referral link. And I did not put this in my description, but there is a StreamYard referral link that was automatically put in my description, even though my description is empty. So I did not put that there. I don't know why it's automatically putting a referral link. Not sure about Canada, but none of these things are guaranteed in the States. Yeah, and that's just my experience so far. If you don't have a toxic work environment, then you'll be treated with respect when you leave, right? But if you do have a toxic work environment, then obviously that's not going to happen. So maybe that was an overgeneralized thing to say.
With the new president we hired, with Nate Frazier, I really honestly thought we were going to be in business for another 30 years. So there was no backup plan. There was no plan at all. But with that being said, it was pretty cool how it all kind of came together. You know, and I'm not going to tell the full story because I'm not here to pitch you on Nueva, our new company. And yes, that is the name of our new company, which took 3 days to come up with the amazing leaders we have. But it was like, for me, I was like, okay, let me look at these other companies, and I'm not knocking other companies. And I know there's going to be someone in the comments going, why didn't you go here? And why didn't you go there? And, you know, our company's this and cool, man, good for you. But you understand what I just told you? Did you hear the freaking story? 3 companies, 2 shut down by the FTC, and another one that just closed. They pressed the button and I lost my livelihood. And all the people on our team lost their check too. Some of that wasn't their livelihood, but some of them it was. Some of them that they can't pay their bills right now. And some of them, that's why I don't judge people. Some people are like, I can't believe the vultures. Guys, look, at the end of the day, like, you know, when a company shuts down, people have the right to go prospect those people. I mean, I don't think it's I don't think it's effective. I don't think it's to go cold message someone you don't know about your opportunity. But someone is definitely going to reach out to people or partner with people that they know, like, and trust. This is why you build relationships. This is why I say
I have something to say about that. So he's saying people are losing their livelihood. Some of them can't pay their bills. And he respects the people who are like reaching out to those people to offer them opportunities, right? And it might not be the best idea to do that right away, but he gets why people are doing it. I want to read something, if I can find it, from Scotty Hobbs. That's the start. So Scotty Hobbs was the one who went from Beachbody to Make Wellness, and this is his response to the Make Wellness or the Modere shutdown. And I want you to think about whether you think this is an ethical thing to put on his Facebook page the day after the company was shut down. Okay. This one hits hard. 15 years ago today, I enrolled in my first direct sales company. After 14 and a half years building a business with Body, pouring my heart and soul, my heart into it, growing a team I considered family, everything was taken away without notice. I would have never left even though I saw the writing on the wall months before. Sorry. Body went from MLM to affiliate, and then he moved to Make Wellness. I would he saw the writing on the wall months before, but he probably recruited people by saying that Beachbody was the best income producing opportunity ever. I felt that if I could have helped enough people with a mission, I could help shift the company. I'm faithful, and it's the only company I've built with. I asked the questions that needed to be asked, and I paid for it. I felt the sting of being shut out, misunderstood, even judged. I built something I was proud of. I believed in the mission, the community, and the impact, and then without warning, it was taken from us. After watching what's happened today to Modere and friends I know who have built a business there breaks my heart. For the people who stayed loyal, who kept pushing through, hoping it would turn around, I see you. I feel that loss too. And here's what I've learned. You may feel so hurt that you feel like right now you would never build again. That was me for 2 days. You're not starting over, you're starting from experience. You haven't lost the belief you built, the leadership you developed, or the lives you impacted. That's still yours. There's a life on the other side of this. There is purpose, there is opportunity. There's a way to serve others, build again, and do so with alignment and integrity. I found that. And if you feel lost right now, I want you to know you're not alone. And this is where the recruitment starts. If you're ready to pivot, I have a place for you. A place where family is the most important work, where transparency isn't punished, it's celebrated, where you can plug in, be supported, and start creating momentum again with peptides that are getting customers incredible results. Shoot me a message if your heart is searching for something more. No pressure, ever. Just know this. You will rise from this. You'll be stronger for it. The biggest piece of advice I got from my former corporate Latino mentor. Your team is going to make decisions on where to go. If you want to keep them together, you need to move quickly. That's sketchy. He's like, I care so much about you. I've been through very similar things. Join me. So it wasn't even the day after. It was the day that Modere shut down, people losing their fucking livelihoods. And then he's like, I'll help you. Join me and you'll be safe. Your income will be safe. Fuck that. Make Wellness is going to close down in a year, I bet. Allegedly, in my opinion. I don't believe him. I think he saw the end coming and had the new company ready to go. He said so much BS over the years. Who could believe him? Good questions. Yeah, he must have. Anastasia. Hey, Monica. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Yeah, he's making his own MLM, Nueva Global, right? When there's a website and stuff, when it's officially launched, we'll take a look at that. Okay, camera off.
So you got to build a brand. I've been teaching all of you to build a brand, be a good human, build relationships, learn to monetize your brand, learn to attract leads and build a community for all. These are the reasons, because companies can go away and it sucks. And it can happen to every single one of you. Now, you probably will hear some people say, well, it never happened to my company.
It's hilarious. Oh, it could happen to every single one of you. However, when he was reacting to Body and all the other companies going affiliate, he's like, this is not the end of the MLM industry. This is not going to become a trend. We're fine. Don't freak out. Now he's saying it can happen to every single one of you. Yeah, it's not your company. Exactly. Yes, I saw that when I was getting ready for this one. Also, not having a backup plan, in my opinion, stupid. Yes, exactly. And it's hard. It's hard because the state of the economy now, I feel like I'm in a relatively secure job, but honestly, who knows, right? And do we need a backup plan when we're in what we feel like is a secure job? Who knows? Who knows? And the prices of everything now, like my income a few years ago would be going a lot further than it is today.
Look, okay, maybe it won't happen to your company. I don't know. But all companies have flaws. All companies have challenges. The problem is, and again, I'm not bashing any other companies, every company that was pitched to me, I felt like it was a downgrade. I felt like it was a downgrade. I'm like, Modere has a better comp plan, better culture, better products. Modere was better in every way except who owned us. I didn't like any of the other companies. I didn't like any of them. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say I didn't like them. I didn't like them enough to join them and bring my team, because I know, like, not to be arrogant, but I know a lot of people are going to go wherever I go. And that includes my upline. That includes my downline. Like, that includes people in other companies. Like, I know there's people that would have never joined Modere, and they want to join wherever we're going next. They saw what we did the last 10 years. They know our integrity. They know how we roll. They trust us. I got people from
Yes, up here, Lori said, nuevo means new in Spanish. Took 3 days took 3 days to come up with. So isn't it interesting how when he was looking at other companies to join, of course, everything was a downgrade, and the only way for him to feel like he was joining a company of the same value as Modere was for him to create his own. Interesting. And there's nothing, he's recruiting people, he's going to recruit people, but with the promise that, like, his company is not going to shut down, that their income is safe. But we've seen over and over in the past little while that this keeps happening to MLMs. Nueva Global could shut down in 2 months, in 2 years, and you could have all these people making millions of dollars. You could have people making hundreds of thousands of dollars, majority of them barely making any money, and they could wake up and their income will be gone, right? And instead of saying, why don't we critically think about if we want to stay in the MLM industry, if we want to look into new ways of generating income. Instead, he's indirectly pitching us his new MLM company. His new MLM company, that it was the only option for him to join because it was the only way that it would be equal or better than Modere.
my first MLM 23 years ago that want to join. I got people from Ace, I won't say the name, from a couple different companies that I've been with. They're like, yo, if you and Nadia are starting something with some of your partners, like Brian McMullen, dude, the guy's a freaking legend. He had 5 different companies at one time paying him 6 figures a month. Show me anybody that's done anything anywhere close to that. And
how was he with 5 companies at the same time paying him that much? Because most MLM companies make it so you can't be in multiple companies at once, especially when you're at the higher levels, higher ranks. So that's nothing to brag about. That's sketchy. And the fact that he was in 5 companies, that just shows the amount of people he was exploiting. That's not a flex. That's showing someone with no morals, someone with no ethics.
you go to Brian's social media, he doesn't even post on social. He doesn't need to. He has unlimited money, unlimited resources. He's got a huge heart. He's been defending network marketers as he's been a part of the Network Marketing Association for the last 20 years. The guy's been around for like 3 decades, and his best friend, Tim Housen, I've worked with for the last 10 years, and they're the most generous people I've ever met, and they're wicked smart. We've got this genius dude behind the scenes that's helping us with the infrastructure and the tech. We've got I was like, man, like Tim and Brian came to me about this problem.
So he has all these people in the company, the Zaleckis and whatever's, dropping all these big names who made it really big in Modere, who are coming with him, and they're all going to bring members of his downline, right? So he's probably, question, do we know? He's probably going to have a spot in the whatever downline too. He's going to be, I bet you he's going to be, in my opinion, allegedly at the very tippy top of his pyramid. He's going to be making money as the CEO and then money as the top distributor, in my opinion, just a theory. MLMs are not ethical, so maybe they look the other way when he was in multiple MLMs, perhaps. Yeah, because if that guy is making each of these MLMs millions and millions of dollars just on his own per year, maybe they'll let him do whatever he wants, right? Yeah, good point, Monica.
Proposition to start our own company. And at first I was like, no, dude, I'm not starting my own company. You're out of your freaking mind. But I was like, if we can get those guys on board, I'm in. Because I just felt like I didn't want to go somewhere where it was a step down, where the comp plan wasn't as strong, where the products weren't as strong, the culture wasn't as strong. And I know that anywhere I go.
I thought you didn't have good products for the longest time. You said you didn't have any interesting products. And every MLM in the world says that they're the only one that has a strong comp plan. That every other comp plan cannot compare. You are not unique. Modere was not unique. Not every MLM company can be the best.
It's going to blow up. And I'm like, do I really want to blow up someone else's company again, owned by people I don't know? And people are like, I'll introduce you to the owner. I'm like, dude, listen, no offense, but I can get in touch with your owner. I don't need you to introduce me. I just don't know that person. I don't know them. They are just, in many cases, an investment.
He knows he's going to blow up any company he goes to. So why not blow up his own company, pretty much? Isn't that amount of ego just so fascinating? He's talked about ego is not your amigo, but he has the biggest ego of everyone. Who says something like that about themselves? I will blow up any company I go to. Okay, I'm going to let it play for at least a minute and a half, starting now.
They're trying to 10x their money, or there's some arrogant egomaniac that just has to be in control. And sometimes they're genuinely really good people. You don't really know for sure, though. That's the problem. I don't know those people. I don't know what they're saying to their spouse at night before bed, what their real intentions are. But I know Brian and Tim. I worked with them for a decade. I know how generous they are. I know they don't care about flashy things. They're not into like nice watches. In fact, this right here, you would never see Brian and Tim wearing, not in a million years. It's just funny. It's just not how they roll, man. That's just not how they roll. So, they were like, we're going to do this if you're in. And I'm like, we get all those guys in. I think I'm in. Like, let's go. I don't want to just join.
Sorry. My connection sucks even with my camera off.
Not interested. So that's how we came up with our own company. And yeah, sure. I think it's going to be enormous. I think it's going to be amazing, but I'm also not worried about that. I'm not trying to be the fastest growing or the biggest ever.
He's babbling about the people who are joining his new MLM company with him, the guys who aren't flashy, don't care about money, and he trusts them, right? Because the owners of this company, of these other companies who are courting him, he doesn't know who they are. He doesn't know their intentions. He doesn't know how they talk to their spouses, but he knows the people he's working with to start his company, and he trusts them, right? So that's why we should join, because this company is built by trustworthy people. Because MLM coach, and now MLM coach / distributor / owner, that means you're trustworthy and you're ethical. I keep saying jackass at the screen, right? And because they don't care about flashy things and they don't want to wear nice clothes, that means we need to trust them. Sorry, just taking a drink. Excuse me.
You guys know me. That's just not, I don't care about that. I just want to do it right. And I want it to be a home for everyone. Modere was a home for everyone. And again, it was awesome. We had one of the best runs in the profession. It was just ran by people that didn't actually care about the people that were building it. Not only that, don't forget, there's also employees. There was hundreds of employees that got laid off. There were thousands and thousands of people that used those products. And I know some people say, yeah, but this company over here is getting those products. Well, sure, maybe in like 4 to 6 months. And look, I hope they do. But a product is one factor, right? Cool. I hope they get those products so people can still order them. But there was a lot of great products, and maybe other companies will get those products. I'm sure they'll do some liquidation. Maybe other companies will get the formula. But there's more to a business than just the products. There's lots of great products out there, and we will have great products. We're going to have some real deal peptides. We have this energy hydration. Anyway, there's some really cool things that we're doing. We're going to have a digital
real deal peptides, energy hydration. Every MLM company has health products and energy supplements. That's not different or unique, but let's listen to this.
Product. We're going to be able to do things that we could have never done with Modere, but we'll still have a very similar comp plan because it was the best comp plan I've seen. So, for us, and again, I'm not pitching you. I'm just telling you, like, these were some of the things.
Sorry, I stopped at a bad time. He talks something crypto as well. I don't know anything about Nueva. You can go and watch DC and Aaron's thing if you want to learn more about the company. No, a business is about selling something, not recruiting. And he's talking about how products are only a small part of that. And he is claiming that Modere shut down not because the MLM industry is broken, and this is going to keep happening to MLM companies in every sub-industry. No, it's because they had a good run until they had a bad owner who was greedy, who didn't have the right intentions, who didn't want people to win. And the moment they had that wrong owner, then everything just went downhill. Wasn't that like what Scotty Hobbs was saying too, that Carl Deichler didn't have the right intentions of running body, and it was just the wrong ownership? The people didn't actually care about the coaches. It's never the industry's fault. It's always some other fluffy subjective factor that there's no way to actually prove if that's what close the company, right? Because of course he's not going to say the MLM industry is dead. I'm worried. I'm going to get out of here. No, if he says he's leaving the industry, everything, all his income is gone. Everyone is going to leave his MLM coaching company and they're all going to go get other jobs. So he's not going to say that. It's in his best interest to keep us in this industry for as long as possible. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Modere just didn't tell their top people.
We knew we could do that if I go to some other man's company, and I hate to say man, but there are some women-owned companies out there too, right? But there was mostly, companies that were like owned by some dude I don't know. And I don't care if it's a woman. I don't know that woman. I don't know those people. I know Brian and Tim. And I know our core leadership. And you know what? Like, again, I hope this doesn't sound bad, but we got offered a lot of money. We got offered overrides on entire organizations, on entire companies, massive bridge contracts. And I just didn't want to be bought. Does that make sense? I didn't want to be bought. And we're not buying leaders either. We're not.
Interesting how he doesn't want to be bought, but allegedly, according to Aaron Bees and other people who've known him personally, he loved bridge contracts and he used bridge contracts to get the biggest. He allegedly used bridge contracts to get the biggest distributors on his team.
Giving bridges, we're not doing any of that stuff with our new company, right? Because also, how would that be fair? Like, we're gonna give you a bridge, but not all these people a bridge. Like, no, we're not. It just doesn't, for us, it doesn't make sense. And that doesn't mean that it's good or bad. It just, for us, it doesn't make sense. For some people, dude, they got to pay their bills. I'm not judging anybody. Let's be clear. I always promoted Modere's bridge. They actually changed it to like a performance agreement, a HIPPO, or what, high income performance, something. I mean, actually, I think that's a genius thing to have in place, but we had to have it because Modere was not hot those last several years. In fact, I think even when we got really hot, we got rid of the bridge because it just didn't make sense. Anyway, I got to get some water.
Bridge contract is just when you are promised a certain amount of money for joining as long as you bring in a certain number of people, you sell a certain amount of product, and it could be a huge amount of money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars extra just for joining the new company. And it's really sad. It's really sad because the person at the very top of a downline joining a new company will get a bridge contract, but all the people underneath them will not get anything, even though they're the reasons that their upline is getting that bridge contract. And I wonder, is that communicated? If Bob, say, gets $100,000 to join Modere, is he going to tell the 200 people in his downline? Probably not, because it's going to make him look really bad.
And I know a lot of you are worried about my collagen coffee. I'm actually using this new Danger coffee for the last week. It's amazing. It is so good. It's so good. The Danger coffee got like 90% on the Yuka app. So you should definitely try it. It's really good. No, I'm not selling it. Although they did ask me if I.
Sorry. Is it bridge? Yeah, bridge contracts are scammy too. I think so.
We're solution oriented. Nadia is literally in the process of hiring a whole customer support. Can you imagine also, I'm talking about Brian and Tim, people really understand. We're gonna be able to do shareable carts, abandoned carts, funnels, lead cap. Like, dude, there's gonna be so many things we're gonna be able to do that we can never do except in crypto. We're gonna do so many things we could have never done with Modere. So I guess the whole point of this is keep the faith. You're going through a tough time. I've been through some tough times. I've noticed the most successful people that I've ever met have overcome the most difficult situations and circumstances. It's very rare that you meet someone that's uber successful and it was just, they were just skipping along effortlessly, easily, with no struggle. Like that's.
But you're trying to normalize a situation that is incredibly unethical, right? Because you would think that a CEO would at least inform their people before a broad dumbass message goes out that, hey, this is what's happening. There's nothing we can do to fix the company. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us over the years, right? This dynamic is not normal. This dynamic is toxic. It is unethical. I feel like I keep saying that over and over again. This whole phenomenon is unethical. Instead of encouraging people who are losing their downlines to think critically about the industry that they're in, no, they're told to just keep the faith because no successful people have an easy life. Everyone has to go through something in order to be successful. And I think that, that's just a way of normalizing something that is incredibly not normal. Yeah. Why crypto? Why crypto? So is it health and wellness in crypto? Seems weird. And funnels? Are you selling MLM distributors funnels? Are you working with Russell Brunson? I have questions.
That's not how it works, right? Like, think about it. You ever, watch your favorite movie more than once because it's your favorite movie? It's typically because it's like very traumatic and there's like a crazy story. Like, you can't have a testimonial if you're never tested. We all know this, right? So we're being tested big time. And, it's funny because I've had some people say, oh, Melton always used to bash startup companies. That's true. You're right. What do you want me to say? It's true. But you also have to keep in mind that up until about a year ago, established companies were, established and more reliable up until about a year ago. Things change. I never thought Beachbody and Rodan Fields would go affiliate. I never thought Modere would just close its doors without warning us or paying us. At some point, you're like, okay, well, maybe going to these bigger, more established companies is just as risky. So we might as well do our own thing. And the good news is we already have, I'm not going to get into.
So how interesting. Now we're talking about how you can't trust the bigger, more established companies over the last year or so because they all keep going to fucking affiliates. So you're acknowledging that the industry is changing in a bad way. But as I already said, instead of encouraging people to think critically about if they're in the right spot, you just want them to follow you to your new company and to keep paying you to give them their useless ass, to give them your useless ass MLM coaching. Good points, Monica. Good points. Ew, let me pour into you.
In all the details, but we already have an infrastructure in place. And Brian was already working on products. And there's some other variables that I can't share right now publicly that made this not necessarily the same situation or circumstances as a startup. So again, that's why it made sense for us. But also, I've never done a startup.
You're a startup though, just because there's circumstances that make you not exactly a startup, you're still a startup. And isn't it funny? Apparently John used to what am I trying to say, bash startup companies. Maybe he encouraged people to join the more established ones who've been around for years and years. But those are the ones that have achieved market saturation because they have 200,000 distributors and everyone that is either already in Modere or knows about Modere or has been in Modere and quit because they weren't making any money.
And I got to tell you, I get it. I get why it's so exciting because there's only limitless potential. There's only like mystery and hope. And so it's like, I kind of get the allure. I get why it's so exciting. And you don't have the baggage, like every company I looked at, there was somebody telling me like, don't go there. Let me tell you why. And it's like every single company has like this horrific story of like something. And I'm not saying we're not going to have that too, by the way, let's be very clear. But when it's brand new, it's brand new. There's no story to tell because we don't even have a website. We don't even have a product or a comp plan yet. So anyway, I just thought I would share, kind of what happened, how it went down. Yes, we're going to try. Sure,
new startups don't have a story yet, but there's still a huge risk in joining a brand new company, right? Because yes, you'll be one of the first ones in the door and no one will know about it yet, but it doesn't mean it's going to be an easy ride for you because more and more people know how terrible the MLM industry is now. More people have been burned by the industry, have lost money, have loved ones who've lost money. And just because Nueva Global, whatever the fuck it's called, is new, it doesn't mean that you're going to easily be able to recruit people.
Try to sue. I'm sure a lot of people will. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know 100% if they're even doing Chapter 7. That's what we heard, but like people can't even find the filing. So who knows? Right? Maybe there's more to the story. I'm sure we'll find out. It's really unfortunate. I didn't even hear from our president. Like, couldn't even respond to my text message, which I thought was pretty, ridiculous. But whatever. I mean, again, I don't know the full story, and I'm very forgiving, and I'm very like open-minded to like, okay, maybe there's like something that like was just out of their control. But it's mostly because they're greedy and they're terrible, evil people. No, I guess we'll find out real soon. But I wanted you to hear from me, hear from the horse's mouth.
The irony of an MLM coach and distributor saying the CEOs of his company are terrible, greedy people. Ironic, Jonathan. Ironic.
I'm sure we'll make mistakes. That's inevitable. I'm sure we'll have growing pains. Modere still had freaking growing pains. I mean, they literally changed the enrollment process without talking to the top enrolling team, by the way. They just changed the enrollment process. At the end of March, when we had the most recruiting, we had 5 different former elite leaders that came back to our team over the last 60 days too. Can you imagine? Like people that went to this company came back and worked with us. I mean, we were back in momentum, like finally, like feeling like, wow, we're like, it's in April was way ahead of March.
Yeah, do you think hear it from the horse's mouth? What's the meaning of that statement? Is it like hear it from the source? Right? Hear it from the source. So is he insinuating that he knew he knew that Modere was closing? Is that what that is? Let's look that up. From the horse's mouth, yeah, is an idiom that means to hear something directly from the source or from someone who knows the truth. It implies getting information directly without it being filtered or altered by others. So he's implying that he knows the truth. He knows the truth about why Modere closed, and we're getting information directly from the real source, and it's not being filtered by anyone. So do we think he knew? Allegedly, in our opinion, I don't know. I don't know. They always pivot to coaching. That's where the real money is. Thankfully, he's already a coach. He's going to be a coach, a distributor, because I'm assuming he's going to be a distributor in his own company, and a CEO. Yes, hear it from the source. Yes. Gotcha. I thought so, but I wanted to look it up first.
But then they changed the enrollment at the end of March, and it was like a complete catastrophe. We had so many people that couldn't even enroll by their kid. It's just embarrassing. So Modere had problems. Their tech was awful. It always was awful. In Europe, such a nightmare. It was such a nightmare in Europe. I felt so bad because I could always just tell and feel their pain. They were like customer service agents having to just constantly put out fires in Europe. But still, our team was doing really good. I mean, we had a convention in Prague like a month ago, and we had like 85 people just from our Czech team there, along with all our other teams in Europe. I mean, dude, that team was on fire. All the European teams were on fire. New products, so many new things happening. I don't know. I don't get it. We were going to open Dubai and Mexico. Just
interesting. He's talking about his European teams, all of them making so much money, but they still closed the company down. Isn't that interesting? I wonder what his income was like over the past couple years, because he said Modere was doing great until 2023. So I wonder if his income decreased, and if it did, was he honest about it with the people he was recruiting? Probably not. He was probably still pitching Modere as an amazing income producing opportunity, even though allegedly, in my opinion, his income was probably dropping. It's just so interesting because all the stuff that Scotty was saying about Beachbody, when he was trying to recruit people, it was still the one best MLM ever.
What you gonna do? But I think it was all meant to be. You know, you have your plan, then there's God's plan. And I feel like this is all part of the plan. I know this sounds weird, but I feel like this was meant to be, because let me say it like this. As bad as it was to lose my business just like that I put my heart and soul into for 10 years, if it didn't happen like that, I don't know if I would have had the courage to start my own company. Like if they would have been like, hey, we're going to go affiliate, we'll give you 60 days. I don't know if we would have done this. But because of how dirty they did us, I'm like, this is the only logical step, because at least I can be in control. At least those of us that put our heart and soul into Modere for 10 years plus. I mean, Brian McMullen bought a position in New Ways in 2002. He was getting paid by New Ways / Modere for 23 years.
He bought a position. One of his partners bought a position. We've heard Ray Higdon talk about how he sold his downline to someone when he was at the top of the company, and he was saying, if I didn't own it, how could I sell it? And I'm thinking, you did not sell your downline. You unethically probably were paid so someone could take your spot in the pyramid. Isn't that so sketchy? Oh Lord, they always say that everything in MLM is meant to be, because he knows he's fine. He has hundreds or thousands of people who will follow him to his new MLM venture. He will have so many people to prey on for his MLM coaching now, because he'll have access to all the Nueva whoever people. And then he'll be an upline in Nueva, whatever the name is. And so he'll have 2 spots where he can recruit people into his coaching, because as an MLM CEO, he's going to have a huge contacts. He's going to have a huge network of people that he could recruit for his coaching. Oh.
Tim Houston was getting paid 2008. He bought his position. You might say bought a position. Yeah, they would buy positions. So we're
bought positions. Why are people buying positions?
Already making money, overriding big teams. These guys are next level, dude. So
that's not something to brag about. So they're making all this money because they were wealthy enough to buy positions. I want to know how that works.
Yeah, they were getting paid for that many years, and they just lost their check too. and you got single moms that lost their check. I mean, for some people, $500 a month is a lot of money. They just lost it. So to me, it's like, how could I possibly put my future in the hands of someone I don't know? Might as well put it in the hands of the people I do know, that I do trust, that aren't greedy, that love our profession, that are not outside investors.
Those people are fucking greedy if they're buying positions and they're being paid for doing nothing. They're greedy. That's the definition of greedy. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let it play. I promise. Just everything he's saying is pissing me off. And it's hot in this room too.
That are not private equity, that are not banks, and that's it. And I knew I'd get a lot of views on this. I'm sure I'd get a lot of replays, and I'm sure people have a lot of opinions. Cool, good for you. Have all the opinions you want. I made mistakes. Good, great job. Like, oh, you should have known. Okay, great job. I'm like, wow, you're good for you. You knew we should have known. You were right. We were wrong. I still probably made more money in the last 5 years than just about any person in network marketing, except for a few people that were in the same company as me. Does that make sense? So clearly, like, it was a good run. And I'm sorry that I'm loyal to a fault, that I wanted to believe and trust our new president. And it's his fault. Again, I get a text message response from him. But, I wanted to believe that they were really wanting to fix this company and build it for long term. Like, the last time I talked to him, he literally said, we're building this for, and in fact, I'm just going to say Nate, everybody knows it's Nate. Okay. He said, we're building this so that even if, I had a top prospect on a Zoom with him. He told him the same thing. I'm not going to be here long term. Like, we knew that he was coming in to get the company back on track, get it more profitable, get us back on track. And he said to build it for you guys for the next 30 years. Like, is he lying? Was he just a really good actor? I don't think so, dude. So again, like, hey, I thought that's what it was.
I think it's bullshit that his income was not impacted. If Modere was in such a downward spiral since 2023, his income must be lower. And he's talking about whether or not he could trust the CEO if he thought the CEO was lying. Probably he was, because I don't think you can be, what do you guys think? Can you be a good person, a truly good, ethical, moral person, and be an MLM CEO? I really don't know, because a CEO is going to know the numbers. They're going to see who's making money and who's not. They're going to see all the people going into debt because of their company. I don't know. What do you guys think?
But I don't know. Maybe this is all meant to be. Like I said, I think God had a bigger plan for us, and I'm very excited about it. Not sleeping a whole lot. Not because I'm stressed, but because I'm like up late, very excited, doing Zooms and webinars and talking on the phone till late. And then I wake up early, all fired up, like, oh my gosh, I got to do this, 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 and this. It's actually funny because I've been kind of like in chilling mode. And now I'm back to beast mode because I got to replace a multi-million-dollar income. And I have all these people counting on me to replace their incomes. And like, a lot of them are like, oh, dude, like, when are we going to open this country? And when are we going to open this market? When can we sell? When can we make money? I'm like, I'm trying, dude. We're trying, but we want to do it right. But we also do kind of want to do it fast because we understand there's a lot of pressure on us to put something together that's great. So, all right, that's it. I just wanted you guys.
Okay. Let me get my camera back on. I had to put my ponytail in because it's hot. It's hot. So that was John Melton's reaction to Modere closing. I thought this was interesting how, 2 days after the company closed, he had a new MLM ready to go. Well, not ready to go. He decided he was going to start a new MLM. And yes, sure, he is not technically pitching. He's not technically pitching his new MLM to us, but he is. He is, by saying that he did not fully trust the CEO, the owners of Modere, and that's why he thinks the MLM closed. Not because, oh my god, I can't talk. Let me go slower. Not because the industry is broken, not because people are waking up to the unethical, horrible nature of MLMs. It's because of a few bad actors in a good company, right? And if we join his company, we are going to be with trustworthy, caring people who aren't greedy and who just want what's best for us. John Melton claims that he did not know that Modere was closing, that he was blindsided by this, just like everyone else. But we wonder if he actually knew. What else did we learn? We learned that the CEO just ignored his text message. What else? We learned that this was meant to be, and that you cannot have a testimonial without being tested. So that's our learnings. I want to show you the videos that I want to watch about Ray Higdon, because Ray Higdon has been doing some interesting things. I just want to quickly show you. Where is it? Yeah. Because he has his own company too. He's making his own company. So that will be exciting. We're going to look at that. So let's see, Brilliant Plus Movement Compensation. So that's his. And then there was another one I wanted to watch. I don't remember. Whatever. He has a new MLM. That's it. He has a new MLM called Brilliant Plus Movement. And we're going to look at that because I think it's interesting that 2 MLM coaches over the course of this was 8 days ago. I think the first video was from like 2 weeks ago about his new company. 2 MLM coaches at the same time are opening up their own companies. Why? Is MLM coaching not as lucrative as it used to be? Do MLM coaches need to have their own company to make enough money? I just wonder. I wonder why this is happening. I wonder if this is going to keep happening, if Fraser Brooks is going to open up his own company. Does Eric Worre have his own company? I wonder. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much to the people who watched my first stream in like 2 months. I think probably next week, if I feel like it, we'll talk about Ray Higdon starting his own company. I really appreciate everyone being here, for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!